This is something I wanted to talk about for a while. The overall state of MCU and the biggest project they're going towards right now is Doomsday, right? And Secret Wars. We got a video. Russo Bros found perfect Avengers Doomsday story for Insane MCU Plot. This is by the Cosmic Wonder. I've watched a couple videos by him before. I'm subscribed already. Let's check it out, man. We haven't reacted to one of his videos
Right
on this
now,
channel, though.
with Marvel Studios, I think the Russo brothers are the very embodiment of let them cook. In a new interview with Empire magazine, they talked about how they finally found that perfect story to tell for Avengers Secret Wars, that perfect story to really grab them and make them decide to come back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe to direct and write more movies. It seems like the two of them combined with Stephen McFeely have come up with something that is just groundbreaking to anything we've seen in the MCU so far. And what they describe in this interview is that they kind of had this big aha moment. And until they had that moment, until the light bulb went off, they weren't actually going to return. But them combined with Stephen McFeely had such a legendary idea that they had to return to make it happen. And
He's going to go deeper into it. I think the biggest issue right now with the MCU is that after Endgame, because there was a lot of people that were like casual watchers of Avengers and all that kind of stuff, right? The MCU in general. But then you have your like hardcore fans, and a lot of people that weren't like comic books were still hardcore MCU fans, right? They weren't maybe as big into the comics as people would assume, but they could still like explain to their family and everything what was happening because they saw all the movies and stuff like that. Now I feel like that audience it's definitely tapered. It's definitely fallen off quite a bit. So the issue is, you need to create up some kind of buildup. With the Infinity Saga, you had the perfect buildup of the stones, right? You had these different devices that were like big plot lines, as these pieces of technology with the Tesseract and yada yada yada, which lingered in all these films that connected the overlining plot thread. We don't have that right now. We frankly do not have that at all. And if we do, and I'm just wrong, comment down below, let me know what it is. Because if we do, it's going completely over my head. And I've watched a tremendous amount of the stuff that's come out after Endgame. To be frank, for MCU, me and my dad went to the premiere of Iron Man, the first one, and ever since that, we went to almost every single premiere. It was a tradition we had after Endgame. We didn't do that after Endgame. We went to the Spider-Man No Way Home premiere, and I haven't been to a movie premiere since then. They had COVID. We had a bunch of stuff that kind of mingled in there, messed up stuff. But also Disney Plus. You can watch it at home. And the overall, it wasn't really an event anymore to go to like a Marvel movie, and the quality of them seemed to be, Thor Love and Thunder was Guardians of the Galaxy was Ant-Man was like, there's parts of them I really 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 enjoyed, and there's parts I'm like, what are we doing, man? So I think that's the issue, the overall quality, and then also the build up, because the build up for Endgame was ridiculous. And if you're gonna have this crazy story, which if you're talking about Doomsday, crazy story, and then you talk about Secret Wars, crazy story, but you have to build up to that, man. There's so many characters that we have to invoke into the MCU. You got the whole X-Men storyline. You have countless of characters. There's Sony characters are rumored to be sold back, so that's where I'm at.
Ideas and their visions that they have in their heads transfer over to the screen perfectly, and we really get what they imagine on screen.
Yeah,
their return also marks a pretty big shift for Marvel Studios. When they decided that Robert Downey Jr. was going to return, and the Russo brothers and Stephen McFeely along with him, it marked a big change in the overall plans that Marvel Studios had for the Multiverse saga.
This could be the biggest thing for Marvel, and or it could be the nail in the coffin, the last nail in the coffin. I don't know yet. I still do not know how I truly feel about him coming back and playing Doom. That just seems a little odd to me. But I know there's like a comic book storyline where it does happen, which is intriguing, man. You gotta pull from the comics. You gotta Gotta cater to the comic book fans. And honestly, let's be frank, a lot of normie fans are not going to these movies anymore. So if you want people to show up and you want people to talk and hype up these movies, you need to cater to the comic book lovers, bro. For real, and the good shit, man.
We'll get into that after this article. Let's find out the official reason why the Russo brothers decided to return to Marvel Studios to tell another story. The article itself is titled The Russos on Why They're Returning for Avengers Secret Wars. That's a story we need to tell. Yeah. It starts off by stating 2025 is set to be a big year for Marvel. After largely
Deadpool and Wolverine hot take, it got carried by cameos. Fun movie. A lot of parts were really cool. I love the Blade scene, man. I loved the... I was waiting for fucking homeboy to say it. My name is Jeff. It was a fun movie, but I do think overall it's not like a movie I want to go back and watch because of the plot or anything like that, right? Also, fucking Johnny Storm, fucking amazing, bro. Fucking amazing. But Captain America: Brave New World, I don't know, man. We might be missing. Like, I've always wanted to see Red Hulk in a movie, but like, I don't know. The animation looks a little wonky in some parts, especially where he like gets hit and he just bouncing off the cars like a goddamn pinball machine. Looked a little wacky, bro. Thunderbolts, very excited for. Fantastic Four, very excited for. That's all coming out in 2025. No, that's 2027. Right?
Taking a year off in 2024, accepting the casual box office mega smash that was Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah. The MCU is back with 3 major movies in the coming months. The long-awaited Captain America: Brave New World, misanthropic team-up movie Thunderbolts, and at long last, the arrival of Marvel's first family in the Fantastic Four: First Steps. And
wait, that comes out this year? I did not realize that, bro. Bro, what?
When you say that out loud and you think about the 3 movies that we have coming up, this really is going to be a very exciting year, especially going into 2026 and then 2027.
I would put Captain America: Brave New World on par with like an Iron Man 2 movie, Iron Man 3 movie. Like, it wasn't exceptional, right? It wasn't the best movie ever. Iron Man 1 is a classic. I would put it there for the expectation levels. Thunderbolts, I think, is a wild card where it's kind of like where Guardians of the Galaxy was, or Ant-Man, the first movie. And also Captain Marvel, it's a wild card for sure. You don't know if you're gonna get a dud or if you're gonna get a banger. Fantastic Four, they have to nail that one. They have to. It has to at least live up to the quality that the first Captain America lived up to. That's just my take, to be frank.
It continues, and that's just the beginning. The current Marvel slate all leads up to Avengers Secret Wars in 2027, an outing not only bringing the return of Robert Downey Jr., this time as Doctor Doom, but also reuniting Marvel with directing duo Joe and Anthony Russo and screenwriter Stephen McFeely. The A-Team is back in a big way.
Also, 2027 for Secret Wars, that means 2026 has to introduce the X-Men completely. Oh my god, there's so many plot lines that they have to fucking flesh out in 2 years. That seems a little much. It seems a lot.
I think that's actually the perfect way to state that. When you think of all the best MCU projects, the Russo brothers and Stephen McFeely and Christopher Marcus are involved in a lot of them. You have to think all of the Captain America movies, in which all were written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. However, the Russo brothers didn't come in until Captain America: The Winter Soldier to direct. But Captain America: The Winter Soldier is often regarded by many people as one of the best, if not the best, MCU film.
Civil War. But no, yeah, Winter Soldier, dude, it's up there, man. I don't know. It's that one. Infinity War is fucking amazing. Endgame is so fucking good, too. Some people don't like Endgame. I loved it, bro. I fucking absolutely love that movie. And that's a movie that is run by cameos, but the storyline, the plot, it just works, dude. It's cinema. It's fucking awesome.
And then, of course, we have Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, which, of course, many people regard as the peak of Marvel Studios.
Oh, so when you think it's definitely the peak, but best movie... comment down below what you think the best MCU movie is ever made. I'll tell you a sleeper, which is the first one. The Incredible Hulk, dude. That movie was a fucking banger, dude. The art style for the Hulk, bro, that was, I missed that, man. I missed the, also Ragnarok is a fucking banger of a movie. That was up there too. Dude, there's so many good movies.
These amazing projects, some of the best movies in the MCU, The Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. The Russo brothers and Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely are behind all
Ant-Man,
of them,
Guardians of the
along
Galaxy.
with two iconic characters and actors, Robert Downey
Captain
Jr.
America.
as Iron Man and Chris Evans as Captain America. And now not only are they bringing back Robert Downey Jr. as Doom, but Chris Evans is returning as well. More
Bring back Black Widow.
and why this is really important.
Get Scarlet
in
in
a
there,
bit.
too.
The article now dives into why exactly the Russos returned. It states, not that returning to the MCU was an obvious move. Endgame was the end, and it took a little time for us to begin to think about it as something other than the end, Anthony Russo told Empire. It states, for the gang, Marvel was never too far away, even after they all left. We're very close with Kevin and Lou D'Esposito, Marvel Studios co-president, and the entire Marvel team. And we've had conversations through the years. We've talked about a lot of ideas, Anthony Russo says. And then inspiration for Secret Wars struck.
I want to talk about something real quick about like the MCU as well. There's a so we're in a predicament where the stories just keep on going. It's gonna get to a point where it has to be ended. And I really think they're gonna have to recast the Avengers one day. Because there's other storylines in the comics that are so good. That's not the Infinity Saga, right? That they could do, and it would be insanely. It would be amazing. I just don't know if they're gonna be able to do that. Like, is that 10 years in the future? Is that 5? Are they ever gonna do it? Are these characters, like, you saw the way, like T'Challa, they didn't want to recast him, man. And I saw rumors that they're gonna recast him for the 3rd movie. And I didn't even mention that Black Panther was one of the greatest movies in the MCU as well. Dude, Killmonger, jeez, he was such an iconic character that like every black character in video games now, like almost like 80% of them have that haircut. It's wild, and it's kind of overstated. Like the haircut's amazing, man, but there's so many better like haircuts that whatever.
Anthony Russo said, really what happened was we ended up stumbling upon an idea that activated all of us. You couldn't see it coming until it came. And once it came, it was like, well, that's a story we need to tell. But it gets even more interesting. The article continues, it wasn't always a sure thing that the Russos and McFeely would return. Marcus is absent this time, keeping projects running at the Russos' AGBO production company. But I'm sure the Russo brothers and Stephen McFeely are still at least consulting with him since he was so involved with the previous projects and they did a great job. But Joe Russo states,
which also we might see breadcrumbs of them not tampering, but helping with it. Which would be good because then the quality would be better, hopefully.
There were ideas that we were trying to wrap our heads around that preceded this one, and we just never found the story. But it all gelled when McFeely hit on how the Secret Wars comic arc might work in MCU form. I remember calling Steve and said, hey, crazy idea. What do you think if we all go back and do Secret Wars? Joe Russo said. You were like, F no. Absolutely not.
Damn.
And then you hung up, and the next morning at 7:30 you called and were like, all right, I have an idea. Then it says, roll call. The MCU's creative Avengers are assembling once more. Now, this is only actually part of the interview that they have teased. The full thing comes out on Thursday, so we'll be sure to cover that if it's juicy.
Today,
but clearly,
bro.
right now, the Russo brothers and Stephen McFeely are cooking up something. And it seems like they're really eyeing the comics to bring a certain story or at least a certain arc to life. And what we believe that arc to be is Doom actually trying to save the entire multiverse, but then becoming a god. And it's also important to note that according to what we know, Robert Downey Jr. was
I'm getting chills just thinking about this shit. But this is why I don't like Secret Wars. I said 2027. I just feel like we're so far out from that. Like, I guess you could pull it off without introducing everybody. But ideally, like, I want like the bulk of these new characters that they have available to them that have been rumored to be pushed out. Like, are we just gonna get the Fantastic, like, when's X-Men coming out? Is that 2026?
signed on to come back as Doom before the Russo brothers came on board. This is the timeline as far as we know. Robert Downey Jr. told the story himself. He revealed that he and his wife went and met with Kevin Feige, and he talked about him returning as Doctor Doom, and he said, let's get Doctor Doom right. Then they went and met with Disney CEO Bob Iger. They pitched him returning as Doom, and he loved it. And then, according to an article from Variety, Robert got the Russo brothers to return. The article says, sources say Downey, who is repped by WME, agreed to return to the MCU if the Russos, who are CAA clients, would be directing. They were the only ones he would work with, says a source familiar with the deal making.
Damn.
So when the Russo brothers were debating on whether to come back or not, they were already locked in with Doom. Whether they liked it or not, Robert Downey Jr. was returning as Doom, which is fine because Doom is very heavily involved with both Secret Wars stories in the comics. But since it's Robert Downey Jr. returning to play Doctor Doom, and we literally have a movie titled Avengers Doomsday, Doom is going to be probably the most prominent character out of every character we're going to see in Doomsday and Secret Wars, and he's probably the most paid as well. So the story really is going to focus on what Doom is doing in the multiverse. And the simplistic story that they could do in the MCU is that Doctor Doom is trying to save the multiverse with Molecule Man, much like he does in the comics. At the end of it all, they can't save the multiverse, so they take the remnants of pieces left over from other universes, put them together, and make Battleworld, in which God Emperor Doom rules. And he has part of the powers of the Beyonders because Molecule Man gives it to him.
Bro, this comic book could be like, it could be its own fucking saga, bro. Because there's a lot of shit that's happening with the dreams and all that shit, with the manipulation by Doom. And that's why I don't know how they're gonna be able to do this so quickly, because you have to get people comfortable with these new characters and these new actors playing these roles. At least get like 2 X-Men movies out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna because that's gonna involve like Doomsday, Secret Wars, Battleworld. It's gonna involve like having the audience understanding the characters already and understanding why the situations they're in is completely backwards, and which is the best part of the whole fucking thing almost.
So that's the
one of the
simplistic, straightforward story that happens in the comics.
Yeah.
But knowing the Russo brothers and Stephen McFeely,
they've
got some twists and turns for us ready. This isn't just going to be a shot-for-shot comic adaptation. It never is. They clearly have something really big cooking. I'm sure we're still going to get God Emperor Doom. But right now the question is, how exactly does he become God Emperor Doom? Are they going to involve the Beyonders? Are they going to make it to where Doom takes over all of what Kang has done before, including the TVA, and makes it...
Y'all want Kang back? I saw people on Twitter talking about this, if they wanted Kang back to come back to the MCU. Man, the amount of stuff they missed on with the TV shows, with the Kang saga, they've really done a detriment. And it feels like we're in a speed run to a whole different era of Marvel
to
right
where
now.
He
which
literally
is really cool.
Not just one universe, but one world where he watches over and kind of becomes the He Who Remains over the one thing that is left. There's lots of twists and turns that they could give us, and I am really excited to see what they come up with, because it does seem like, based on what we just heard from this interview, they had some big aha moment where some big epic idea came into their brains, the light bulb went off, and they went, that's how we do it. Let's return to Marvel and tell this story. And I wouldn't be surprised, and I know that Robert Downey Jr. and the Russos all said that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be playing Victor Von Doom, not a Tony Stark variant, but I still wouldn't be surprised if they do address the fact that he looks like Tony Stark, which is something that I definitely think they should address.
I think he's going to go by the name of Victor Von Doom, but I definitely think, because there's a comic book, I forgot which one it was, where him and Tony switch bodies, and I'm pretty sure that's who he's going to be. So he is technically Victor, he's Victor, but just in Iron Man's body, which is so fucking cool.
And I think they are going to address this, because what Marvel has done,
Tony and Victor's body ran his shit
done by bringing all of these people back is essentially revert back to what worked before in the Infinity Saga. They're bringing Chris Evans back, Robert Downey Jr. back. New reports say that Scarlett Johansson is returning, and we
Yes,
recently heard a rumor
please.
from the insider My Time to Shine Hello that Pepper Potts is going to return in Avengers Doomsday as
That's
well.
nice.
Now, she is in charge of Stark Industries, or at least so we believe she still is. So there are reasons to bring her back, but I think the main reason you would bring her back is because she would see Doctor Doom and realize that he looks exactly like Tony Stark. So going back to what worked before, having the same actors essentially lead the MCU again because it made a ton of money and the audiences just absolutely loved the final product that we got, which was Infinity War and Endgame. Combine that with one of the best Marvel characters ever to exist and some crazy twists and turns and multiverse stuff. This movie, or these movies, both Doomsday and Secret War.
Dude, imagine the fucking interactions that Spider-Man's gonna have with Doom. Oh, man. I'm so excited for a fucking new Spider-Man movie. When's that coming out, man? Because, like, the way they left us off on No Way Home, I'm just like... What? What's like? Oh my god! I have so many questions about the MCU right now,
and they most certainly should work. They should be amazing.
Not about She-Hulk, though.
But go ahead, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. What do you think they could possibly twist for Doctor Doom's story from Avengers Secret Wars? How do you think they should tell this story in the MCU? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news, leaks, or rumors. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
I think this is the story is a perfect opportunity, and obviously that's why it's a perfect story for the Russo brothers to use, because you have the multiverse already established pretty freaking well for the people that are still watching the MCU, or whatever we call it now. It's TV as well, so it's not just cinematic. But man, you have a bunch of characters, like for instance T'Challa, like breaking new Black Panther casting update. So you have a bunch of characters where they're being recasted, whether it be from like X-Men. We have a whole new roster of X-Men. We got a whole new roster for Fantastic Four. We got all these different people that are going to be playing new characters that we're familiar with. The multiverse is perfect opportunity where, you know, Doom can bring all these characters together from different multiverses and put them in one battle world, which is really cool. But what I'm wondering, because that's pretty much the end of everything, is how they can lead that into something else, or is that the real end game? I don't know. So yeah, comment down below your thoughts. Let's look at the comments real quick on this video though. These movies need to be over 3 hours long. Yeah, I agree. The Russo brothers have already proven in the past that they were made for this kind of project. I have no worries about the next Avengers films. Yeah. Which is funny because we were supposed to get the young Avengers, right? That was the whole purpose of like having She-Hulk and all these younger people, you know, teased out, like the Hawkeye TV show. Is that dead in the water? I feel like that's dead in the water. Like they're not going to do that because there's like no hype for that at all. I believe Loki will come into play when Doom starts messing with the multiverse. Loki will choose to save his brother this time and mess up what he fixed while Doom thinks he is ruling. Yeah. Yeah, I when he was talking about the what's it called? The guy, right? The one above, or I forgot the name, what Loki is right now. In some kind of universe. It seems like the whole fucking multiverse, but yeah, I feel like he's gonna come back, and that's gonna be fucking epic as well. Buddy hyping it up as if it's the second coming of Christ. For some people, it is, man. You know, people worship Star Wars. Some people worship Marvel, man. To each their own. Russo Bros said back in 2017 they would return if they were to make Secret Wars. It was obvious. It was always what they wanted. It's interesting too because Robert Downey Jr. on Joe Rogan's Experience said he would never come back. He said the role had to be perfect. It had to be right. Seems like they found the perfect number for the paycheck. I'm sure the Russo brothers coming back had nothing to do with that big ass check. Speaking of money, look at that. That's not a coincidence. So yeah, definitely giving this video a like. If you don't follow the Cosmic Wonder and you love, you know, stuff that's wonderful. Go give him a follow, man. Go give him a sub. But yeah, dude, I'm really excited for this next chapter of the MCU. There's a couple projects I need to finish. Like I need to finish. Man, there's just a couple of them. I have to go back and look. I can't remember what they are. But yeah, comment down below your favorite project that was after No Way Home. I'm curious about that one because we've had some sleepers. Like Loki season 1 was fucking amazing. Season 2 was pretty fucking good too. I don't think it lived up to the hype that Loki season 1 was, but it was still really good, especially in contrast to everything else that was coming out at that time. But yeah, dude, I'm so hyped. My name is Trey Swish. I love comics. I love Marvel. I love Marvel Rivals. I've been playing the mess out of it. And honestly, that game is like recharged my MCU battery, my Marvel battery. And I'm so excited I've been watching old Marvel movies, man. Going on a little marathon. But yeah, hit that like button so we can push it out to more people like me and you. We can talk about, our favorite Marvel characters or whatever we want in the comment section below. And dude, hit that sub button. Let's get to 1,000 subs, baby. I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.